Hey everyone, so heading into 2026, we had a few things we wanted to talk about today. So we've got three topics we're going to cover. One is a little run through on quick wins, things that you can do heading into the end of 2025 into 2026 to better position yourself from a marketing standpoint and to create alignment with your team. Number two is we're going to talk about, what was number two, Lauren? Marketing is an investment, not an
Yeah.
expense, and looking at the financial analysis of your marketing investment. Because, we know that as people plan going into the new year, one of the things people look at is, hey, where can we save some money? And we want to caution, again, yes, we're marketing providers, so maybe we're a little biased, but we're going to back that with some evidence here. You need to understand if your marketing is an investment and not an expense, then peeling back the investment means you peel back the returns. And then the last thing we'll talk about is just we're going to recover one of the things we covered recently, which is how can you remarket effectively to people that are in your local area to build deposits in the know, like, and trust bucket so that people are specifically excited about doing business with your med spa. So first, at the top of the list, we'll go through some quick win ideas for 2026 heading into the end of the year here, Lauren. You had some jotted down. You want to just start at the top of the list, give people some
Yeah,
quick wins and some action items?
absolutely. I think the first one and probably the easiest one is going to be SMS blasts to your existing list, utilizing those text blasts in that text list to push maybe certain products that you haven't moved quite a bit of, or certain services that you want to book more, or even just if the schedule's looking a little bit dry, pushing certain things that we know are going to win all the time. For example, I've had calls with a couple practices this week that are like, we're a little bit slow on our injectable side until Christmas or until the end of the year. What can we do to push that? Easiest thing is a remarketing text blast to your entire list. You can do that in a variety of ways, but the number one way always to go is going to use tox, use a neurotoxin, use a Botox type promo, get people in that way. Promos that work really well are simple. It's for people that already know, like, and trust you. So we don't have to go as steep as we do in the ad space, but things like $2 off per unit of tox, $1 off per unit of tox, save $75 on your next tox treatment. Things like that that you can pick that are just quick, easy wins. Blast that to your whole list, get people back in before the end of the year.
Lauren, on that one, do we have find anybody having success? I know we've gone back and forth on this, like instead of like a discount, a Tox Plus, so the freebie on the back end, or is that less effective on average?
Less effective on average, unless the freebie is something that people really, really want. So if it's like a 30-minute express glow facial, absolutely everybody wants that. That's something that would work pretty well. It's just going to be on you to kind of figure out expense wise if that makes sense or not.
Yeah.
But if your SDs need full, great way to do it. Add on a free dermaplaning. Only for adding things that people want. For example, I've had a lot of people saying, oh, well, we have all these skincare samples left over. Let's add on a free travel size Elta MD. Don't, that's a waste of your time,
Yeah.
really. Nobody cares that much about getting that, from what we've seen at least. They want the deal on what they want, really.
Yeah. And reminder, we've talked about this before too, but anytime you're doing a like Tox Plus or anything plus as the promo, number one, make sure the plus is something that's universally appealing or as close to it as possible. Like Lauren said, the 30-minute facial. If you're giving something away that like not that many people are going to be excited about, it's not going to work. And then the other thing is make sure that they're aligned. Like if you're giving, if people are coming in for a Botox promo or Botox, and the add-on should be complementary to the Botox service offering. Don't be like, come in for Botox this month and get half off laser hair removal. Like these things are completely unrelated. But I think people, they tend to want to do that kind of thing in my experience, in my conversations, not to that extreme, not laser hair, but they'll find something like come in for Botox and get half off microneedling. Okay, that's expensive. That's a whole other thing. People might not want to, a lot of people are not going to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to make the offer attractive enough to get a good response rate, even from your existing clients. So some good
I
tips
have
on the
one
line
client
there.
who's doing a really cute idea that actually I haven't heard before. And this is super easy thing that you can implement in office. They're calling them, I think they're like surprise boxes, they're calling them essentially. And they're putting surprise gifts in the boxes. So it's like come in and schedule service and get a free surprise box. And inside that box, it might be $50 towards Botox. It might be $300 of Dysport. Like they have different levels of what that promo is. But it's really fun around Christmas. People have loved it so far around the end of the year, holidays in general. People are loving just getting a little gift when they come in for that service. It almost kind of drives the nail a little further to get that last treatment before the
Yeah.
end of the
And it
year.
gets your imagination to run wild too, because you think about how, oh, this might be really, really good. So
Yeah.
creates an extra incentive. Cool. All right. So number one, this to end this one, or to start this one, was SMS blast, re-engage your existing clients with some sort of an offer. Lauren mentioned specifically like injectables. And if you're going to do if you're not going to do a discount, if you're going to do a discount, it doesn't have to be as substantial as your new patient acquisition strategy. If you're going to do an add-on or a bonus, make sure that they're aligned and it's got universal appeal. Hey there, wanted to briefly interrupt the episode to make a quick ask. If you're a podcast listener, it would mean the world to us if you leave a review for the podcast, whether that's on iTunes or Spotify. It's something I hadn't really remembered or thought of asking for, but it does help us show up more frequently so that we can reach more people with the information that we're providing. So it would mean the world to us if you leave a review on iTunes or Spotify, if you're listening on audio. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're in the loop for future videos and you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. Number 2 you had, Lauren, was just going through and making some improvements to your on-page SEO. There are people every day in your area Googling for, med spas near me, Botox providers, my city. How do we make sure that we're structurally sound from an SEO standpoint? Some quick wins on that front.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing that everybody can implement on their own is to update your page titles and your page headings to map to the framework we always talk about, which is service in city, state, and then the name of your med spa. Super, super simple principle to apply across the board. Simply change your page titles to Botox in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina,
Business
Botox
name.
in Raleigh,
Yeah.
North Carolina, business name at the end. Super, super easy across the board. Make sure each service that you do has a dedicated service page that falls in that category. So one for Botox, one for fillers, one for Sculptra, all the things people are searching for, and make sure it's findable too, like we said, with the location name in it.
Yeah.
Super easy win.
And then some other bells and whistles we've talked about on previous episodes, but we'll build on those. Videos, put some videos. It doesn't have to be fancy or well produced. A cell phone video embedded on that page is going to help you differentiate, distinguish yourself, and stand out. It's not going to be boilerplate and cookie cutter. You're going to add some personality. So do that on your service pages. Go through them. Make sure you're answering every question someone could have. Make sure you're giving people a reason to be excited about getting that service with your med spa, not just regurgitating information from the manufacturer about the service. Those are really important things to improve not only your on-page SEO, but the patient experience and the likelihood that someone converts when they do stumble across your website. So, and then Lauren, one of the other things we've been experimenting with, which there's again, we always talk about, there's a pro and a con to a lot of this stuff, is if you're running new patient exclusive offers, one and done, first time use, maybe embedding some call to actions. Be clear of your call to actions on your pages. Going through your website when you got some downtime over the holidays, maybe. What is my call to action? Do I just have a bunch of information about Botox and then they have to go up to the top right corner to schedule an appointment and they're just expected to schedule an appointment as if they're ready to come in and get Botox treatment? Like if somebody's on the fence, like are we offering a consult? Are we giving them a discount or a promo? How can we provide extra clarity in what we're asking people to do and what's going to happen next from those service pages too?
Mm-hmm. Yep. The nice thing with that too, and this is not as quick of a win, is something you have to implement, but really useful with that is adding a form to that of capturing people to get access to the new patient promo.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to continue to drip people, talk to them through automation drips, text them, have those voicemails in place so that if they are browsing a bunch of different things on the internet and finding different places around you, we're the ones following up with them after they came to our page. No other spa might be doing that. So having that kind of embedded with the new patient promo messaging is useful too.
Yeah, that's probably a core part of our strategy across the board is we're always trying to implement an intermediate lead capture step. There are people that are interested, they're looking at what you're doing, but they're not quite ready to actually hit book an appointment and like schedule for Monday. So how do we get their information when they're in the in-between phase? And that's what Lauren's talking about. Tell people, hey, access, and honestly, make it a virtual coupon. We've done this before too. Like literally you have a virtual offer that you email them automatically once they fill out the form, but give them a reason to actually have to fill out the form to access the offer even before they're ready to schedule and book. So that's a cool one. All right. Number 3, Lauren, you had retention promos, get people back in. Talk about that one a little bit more.
So if you don't want to do a blast to the entire list offering, whatever promo off talks in general or things like that, you can always do list segments through your EMR as well or through your practice management system to pull people maybe who haven't been back in a certain amount of time. So maybe somebody who hasn't been in the last 9 months for filler, or somebody who hasn't had a Botox appointment in the last 4 months. You can use some list segmentation to get people back in with promos tailored to what they're interested in. So if they have had filler before with you, but they haven't, done it in a long amount of time. Maybe we offer them $100 off your next syringe, or maybe we offer them a mini lip type offer, things that are kind of within the realm of what they've already tried with you, getting those people back in. So that could be nice too for some segmentation for things that you want to be pushing more of. I know weight loss is a huge thing kind of going into the new year around this time, especially. So a lot of my clients have been doing, hey, let's pull our weight loss list of people who might have been on medication and dropped off, or people who have expressed interest and haven't necessarily finished, or did a consult and didn't buy, and kind of re-engaging those people too. So it's basically utilizing the tools in the back end of your system, pulling those lists and offering specific promos to them through those tools as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. On that same note, which is had a recent podcast episode, one of our guest episodes on Friday. Also, I would also encourage you, this is kind of an aside, maybe this is a whole other line item, use any downtime during the holidays to deepen relationships with existing clients. We talk about retention. Go pull a list of like your top 50% spenders or people that haven't been in 6 months, maybe a combination, and write them a little handwritten note, put it in the mail, send them a personal text, give them a call. Those types of check-ins, right? This is a business that's reliant on the elements of know, like, and trust and relationships. So any downtime you have, use that as an opportunity to revisit those relationships, add an extra level check-in. I think she even talked about on the last episode, sending gifts to some of your top clients, like literally sending them a holiday Christmas gift, doing the things that can set you apart to deepen the relationship with those existing clients. Next thing, Lauren, was filming and posting educational videos. And again, this does not require a video crew or fancy equipment. I would recommend one thing, which is, and maybe this isn't even necessary, there are these little like Rode, RODE mic packs. They're $100 on Best Buy or Amazon. They're a lapel mic that plugs into your phone that just will make the audio quality better. But all you need is a cell phone and that, essentially, and you can do some of this. But any just general guidance on that, Lauren?
Yeah, and I think honestly, the end of the year is a really good time for this too, because you might have some providers who are out of office, so the schedule's a little bit slower, or you might just not have many people booking in those days between Christmas and New Year's, for example. So utilize that time to get ahead of things too that you can use for months to come. So maybe that's sit down and chip away, an hour worth and record 10 videos over top of your best before and afters, talking through what you did, what your treatment protocol was, why it's unique to you. Record a quick educational video on why you love combining Botox and Sculptra. Any of those things can be useful. You don't necessarily need to do anything with them immediately. Don't post 500 of them, but keep them in your wheelhouse so that, hey, we might have a slower posting week. Let's keep that up and use that for whatever. Let's use it in an ad, a boosted post, all those
On the website.
ideas.
Yeah.
On your website. Yeah. So keep eye on what time you have during this, if there's any downtime, and go ahead and get ahead of that stuff and just start filming.
Yeah. I'll add one thing to that. We talked about this a little bit internally this morning, but when you're creating content that's meant to educate and to build those know, like, and trust deposits, don't be afraid to give your unique perspective on the service offering too. Whatever little wrinkles you can like incorporate into that message that are unique to you, those are the things that are going to make you stand out. And I always talk about this. One of the things we do now in our agency is we coach some other agencies. And one of the things when I'm trying to help people get new clients for their agency, they're in a different niche, but they're trying to acquire clients, is they'll ask what works for you. And for us, it's this YouTube channel and our podcast. But if I just tell somebody else, well, oh, creating educational content helps you bring in clients, but they go do it and it's not exceptional, and it's not interesting, and it's not unique, it's not going to actually help them accomplish their business goals. The activity alone, yes, people who take action are going to be rewarded for the most part, but the nuances of the quality of the content and the information you're providing are important. So if you've got a little bit of personality or like an opinion of the service, when you do like it, when you don't, what are the downsides, what are the upsides, what are the things that like you run into that are like common like complaints, or what is the thing clients really like about it? All of those little bells and whistles can help you differentiate, so you're not just regurgitating boilerplate content. Just like on your websites, if you're just getting there and going, the difference between Botox and Dysport is the price is this, and Dysport was made this, and this is like it's not going to be interesting enough to compel people into action. So that's just one little caveat to that little tidbit.
Another
on
thing with
posting and
that too,
creating content.
Ricky, I wonder your thought on it, but I think we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago on having some secret shoppers like in your med spa to go around and test other med spas and see what they're doing for like a consult process or things like that. Because there might be some things that you do in your treatment protocol or in your process that you just assume everybody does. It's normal, it's not unique, but it
Yeah.
might be completely unique to what you do. Like maybe the fact that you even spend 20 minutes having a consult with somebody is way more than the practice down the street who just kind of wants to get Botox in you and get you out kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think kind of
Talk
figuring that
about that.
out too. Yeah, figure out what actually makes you unique. Don't just assume and don't just, think it might be nothing too.
This episode is brought to you by MedSpa Magic Marketing, my agency. We help med spas and aesthetics practices grow with more effective marketing strategies. And I know that's a vague phrase, right? It's a vague claim. So I have an offer for you. I offer this to any new prospects. If you're interested in exploring another marketing option, a new agency, or just getting into Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads for the first time, I'd love to show you why we're different, what we're doing for clients. And we can do that via a 1.5 hour planning session where I'll outline a specific marketing plan and I'll give you all of the blueprints that we would implement if we were to do business together. Now, you can take that, use that on your own, hire someone else to help you execute it, or work with us. We really don't hold anything back on that strategy call. And I think you'll have a lot of confidence in how you manage your marketing investment moving forward, understanding some of the nuances that can help you implement more effective marketing strategies for your business. So if you want to do that, you can go to medspamagicmarketing.com. Next on the list is your Google Business listing. So like there's two parts of the Google Business listing we're going to talk about. Lauren, I guess you talk about the first part, like, hey, when I go to my Google Business listing, what should I be double checking here at the end of the year to set us up for maximum success?
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before, so we'll just briefly touch on it again, but it was a big realization to all of us when we sat down on our team retreat and talked about how would we pick a med spa, and it was, okay, what would you do first? And it was, I would Google it near me, probably if I hadn't seen it, or if I had seen an ad, I would still go look it up, and I would check their Google Business listing first to see where they are, what their reviews are, and what their photos look like. And I think the photos sound like this little thing, like Ricky and I always say, if it's that small, it might not have a huge impact, but it's one of those things that might sound so small, but probably has a massive impact on what your post or your first photo on your Google Business listing looks like. If it looks like it's a tiny shop in the middle of nowhere, people don't really know what it looks like
Yeah.
inside, it's not cute, it's like a dirty building, probably aren't going to get as many clicks or calls from that. If it's a beautiful picture of the injector inside of one of your treatment rooms, probably going to get way more interest. So that is the first place I think people are looking, is at a quick glance, what does your med spa look like? Is it somewhere I would want to visit? And then I'm going to dive in deeper to find out, the reviews, check your website and things like that too. So go check your Google Business listing, look at what your photos are, look at what that first preferred photo is, and make some changes to it if necessary. It shouldn't just be your logo or maybe the outside of your business. Unless the outside of your business is gorgeous, great.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
one client in California, it looks like a resort, so leave
Yeah.
that. But others don't necessarily, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we did that internally after we did the team retreat. We actually had some photos at the team retreat, so we put some photos on there. But I went back and I was like, oh yeah, these kind of are ugly. And now we've got nice photos up there after that, and I think that is an important insight. And it's like I always use sports analogies. Everybody on the team makes fun of me for this, but I think this is a good one. Like I'm a college football fan, and when you look at like a middle average college football team versus like the best teams in the country, if you were to go watch them practice, you probably wouldn't even barely know the difference. Like the guys are all big, strong, fast, tall, athletic. They can throw, they can catch. But it's the smallest little details piled on top of each other that those teams go play each other in a game and the average team gets beat 49-3. And the same thing I think is true in the med spa space. All of these details matter, all these little bells and whistles. We're always looking for the big idea, the thing that's going to massively transform our business with one flip of a switch. Most of the time, it's not that. It's doing all of these things well. How do we make our reviews better, our Google Business listing photos, our ads are more attractive, we're more engaging on social media, our client experience is better, our consult, our provider retention. All these things have to be dialed in, and the attention to detail and the obsession over the little things I think does matter. And Lauren and I, we share that in common. We're always looking for the big idea. We get bored with little ideas that move the needle incrementally. So I think that was a cool finding for us. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing on that front was Google reviews. I've talked to plenty of people. They've got Google reviews, so I just always assume they're doing something. But a lot of people are very blasé about how they manage their Google review requests. I think you want to have a very assertive, if not aggressive, program in place to ask for Google reviews. Whether that's in your EMR or third-party marketing tool or review management tool, if somebody's coming to the office and they didn't have a horrible experience, I want to make sure they're getting a Google review request to go leave a review for us on Google. And again, we've given some basic tips on that, but have a strategy in place. Be consistent with requesting the reviews. I would say text messages always work better. A link directly to the Google review listing always works best. Instead of trying to gate and filter, if you just send them a link straight to the Google reviews listing. And the thing we've mentioned a lot is frame it as a favor. Don't make them think you're doing it as customer research or like something like that. It's just, hey, these reviews are really important to small businesses like ours. If you had a great experience, it would mean the world to us if you left a review on Google.
Mhm. I think
Anything
a
to add
cool
to
idea
the
too.
Google business listing?
Yeah, my urgent care actually does this, and every time I leave a review because I really like them and I think they do such a good job, and I literally have changed my Google login to leave multiple reviews because they do it every time I'm there, which I go to urgent care too much, as you
Yeah.
can tell. So, but
Need a
anyway,
membership.
what they do that I think is so unique is when I'm actually still in the room before I even leave to check out, the provider themselves will bring me a card to say, hey, it's really important to us. We're new at urgent care. Could you leave us a review? Here's the link. We're doing like a little internal competition to see which provider gets the most comments. And
Yeah.
I thought that's so cool because one, it kind of goes to what we talk about with rebooking, which is do it while they're still in the room, when they're sitting there, have time to do it, not when they're fluttering with their computer or purse trying to schedule the next appointment. So it's do it while they're still in the room with the provider who they built the connection with, not necessarily the girl at the front desk asking for the review or even the text follow up after, which works. But I just thought that was such a cute idea because I literally have probably leave them 3 reviews now
Yeah.
because I just like them and they do such a
Yeah.
good job.
And you know what's a cool thing too? You can update a Google review. So some of you, like if somebody's left a Google review, you just never ask them about it again. Well, what if they left a review after their first visit and it was like, oh, this place was nice, had a good experience. But now they've been a customer for 2 years and they like love their provider. And their review would be glowing if you asked them to follow up and update their review. Like, hey, if you've already left a review, and it's been a while, if you have any updated context, we'd really appreciate you updating the review. And they
Yeah,
might add some meat to it. And those things can help not only with SEO, but to get the clients that are researching your business to actually get over the finish line and schedule that appointment with you too.
I like that a lot.
Cool. All right. Last thing on the Google business listing that we always mention it, but I never want to forget, go to your service list, make sure all of the services are filled out. When you do a Google search like Botox near me, you'll see a lot of times Google will show in the maps results businesses that have a little blue check mark in a circle that says provides Botox or Botox treatments. And that's simply because those practices have put that service in their service list on the Google business profile. Make sure that's not missing. It's such an easy, quick way. And I see a lot of people, probably 30-40% of people have that missing that I talk to. Last thing on this front, not marketing related, but use this as an opportunity toward the end of the year. Get alignment with your team. Our teams are the most important part of our business. Make sure that they're happy, that we're aligned in our growth goals, that you're checking in with them, that you're focused on retention, that you're focused on aligning incentives, that they're feeling good about things, that you're getting their feedback and ideas. Use this time to check in with your team, create excitement, alignment heading into 2026 was just the last little thing we had there. Cool. All right. Anything on the quick win side, Lauren, to wrap that came to mind?
Nope. I think that's
Okay.
it.
Shifting into topic 2, which is a recent video we did, marketing as an investment, not an expense. But I do think this is an important reminder. We know a lot of you, turn of the new year, you're looking at, taxes upcoming, you're trying to get your budget back, you're getting into months that you know are going to be slower. So one of the first instincts is where can we cut expenses? And I'm all about finding ways to cut expenses. The problem is if your marketing is working, it's not an expense. Now that's a big if for a lot of you because a lot of you are spending money on marketing that's not working and is making your cash flow situation worse because you're paying more to acquire a client than the client spends and you're not retaining clients. That's a whole other issue. But if you have confidence in the data and you know your marketing is producing ROI, we do just want to caution you, resist the urge to think of marketing as an expense. For some of you, this is a big line item on your budget, right? Like this is a place where you're spending 5, 10, 15% of your monthly revenue at times. And so it can be the first thing on the chopping block when you're trying to cut expenses, but understand if your marketing is an investment, by scaling that back, what you're doing is you're also pulling back the returns. If you look at the case studies on our website, the clients that have had the most success, they've been aggressive with ad spend. It's hard to grow without being aggressive with your investment. If I want to grow my retirement account, I need to be aggressive with the amount of money I'm putting in there. And if your marketing is truly producing an ROI, scaling back the money that goes on the front end is also scaling back the return, and it's doing the opposite. It might be cutting an expense item, but it actually makes your cash flow situation and your profitability worse if the trade-off is you're also losing an outsized portion of incoming revenue. So that was just a reminder, I think, on the expense versus investment side of marketing. Again, if you don't have confidence your marketing is an investment, schedule a call with us. That's a whole other conversation. But Lauren, anything to add to that?
No, I think the biggest thing on it to remember too, for a lot of my clients that we talk about, is as soon as you stop putting money into the system, that means less new patients and less incoming revenue as well. So it's not just, what does my numbers mean? That is a very simple principle to understand. It's
Yeah.
you're going to spend less, you're going to get less new people and less people spending money with you. So, at a most simple level, something to keep in mind.
Yep, for sure. Okay, and then the last thing today was something else we talked about, but I just had we did it on our team share this morning. It was one of my ad shares. There's an agency that we're in a group with, and the business called Platform Marketing, and they do a really good job with this. So it was one of my team shares today on our team call. But reminder that when you're creating this content for social media, make sure you've got a diverse range of touch points that get people excited about doing business with you. Again, I call these deposits in the know, like, and trust bucket. They do such a good job with their agency. They're sharing like a review, a snap, like literally a screenshot of a review, a video, something from their team retreat and the conference they run for clients, information on their pricing. But there is always something different. And I must be in their retargeting pool. So every time I log into Facebook, I'm seeing one of their ads and I'm seeing a different marketing message. A lot of the stuff we coach our clients on and the stuff that we do and we implement that you've seen in our videos is we're doing some version of demand capture. I'm doing direct response, people that are ready to buy, pull the trigger, and we're going to measure the results relative to customer acquisition cost, to initial visit revenue, to retention, and we'll get a clear picture on ROI. But if you want to supercharge this and build momentum and have a more of a snowball effect with your marketing, then these types of additional touch points are really, really effective. So think about the things that you're posting on social media and put a boosted budget around them. Even if you're not doing it with your marketing agency, if you're doing it on their own, you can do this simply as a retargeting tool. You can retarget people that have engaged with your page previously, who have clicked on your website, who have been to your social media account. So these are people that are already maybe in your orbit somewhere that are vaguely familiar with you. I want to keep getting those people excited about scheduling an appointment with me, whether it's a week from now, a month from now, or a year from now. Those things pay off, I would say, tenfold. Like these are going to be like massive improvements to your overall marketing program in the long term. But run these as boosted posts, because when you post it to your page with no boost, the only people that are seeing it are people that follow your page. A simple $5 boost on some of your posts is going to reach probably thousands, if at least hundreds, if not thousands of people that are in your local area that are maybe already interacting with you or investigating your business. And they're going to build deposits in that know, like, and trust bucket that move them along the purchase path and get them excited about doing business with you eventually and setting you apart from your competition by developing know, like, and trust at an unparalleled level. So that was just another reminder. I think that's an underutilized strategy, is remarketing boosted posts with good social media content. Now, don't do this with every post necessarily. Like nobody cares if you like posted like what you're having for lunch. Like that's not the kind of thing that's going to move the needle, but the stuff that does move the needle, that compels prospects to take action, I would say incorporate some form of a boosted ads budget. And again, if you're doing that as a retargeting tool, literally $3 to $5 a day will check that box. Anything to add to that, Lauren? Like content, like the type of stuff people are posting, any ideas there? You think that's a pretty good summary on it?
I think the only thing I would add to it is, like you said, what type of content you're reposting or boosting and things like that. We might think that a little review that somebody said doesn't really move the needle, but with certain reviews, people do say pretty unique stuff sometimes that really does make you the sought after provider, or even just might to a couple people that you didn't expect. So I think reviews are a really cool thing to post and to highlight. So make sure you kind of comb through your reviews and find which ones of those two are the ones that are going to do that. And then even get some testimonial videos. Like fight, your patients and your people who really know, like, and trust you to get testimonials, get videos with you talking through why they love your service, why they love their results, things like that. So there's real anecdotal experience behind it. I think one post Ricky had shown me earlier from that platform marketing he's talking about was literally a photo of a client that they had that sold something, and it said,
Yeah.
our revenue went from this
Yeah.
to this in 6 months, and I'm so happy about it.
Yeah.
For them, that made a lot of sense. For you, it could be your client that's like, hey, I hated the way that I felt when I looked in the mirror, and as soon as I got 3 treatments with so and so, I'm so happy. My confidence has never been better. It could be anything like that that just showcases an anecdotal experience as well.
Yeah. And even on formatting, I think some of us are always wanting things to be on brand. So we'll like paste a Google review into like a nice graphic that's like gold and black and has like quotes around it. But I think it's kind of powerful. Like if you just screenshotted the Google review and ran like a Google review as a post or like a boosted post or an ad, it doesn't even have to be on your feed. You can run these, you can do these either way. You can put them on your feed And you could run a boosted post, which means it's there for your existing audience and it's boosted to people that you target with the ad. Or you can just run it as what we call like a dark post or an ad that's basically just a boost not going on the feed. But like I just Googled the med spa near my house that Mary goes to. And like the first review is absolutely amazing experience. From the moment I walked into the clinic, the ambiance was soothing and welcoming. The esthetician was incredibly knowledgeable and took the time to understand my skin concerns and goals. And it goes on. But like just snapshot that and run that as a post and a review. These are the kind of things that are going to get people excited. And if you start to do that one on top of the other, weeks and months on top of each other, it builds momentum in your business. I think that's just a massively underutilized strategy. It's
Absolutely.
very, very, very cost effective too.
Love it.
Cool. All right. So those were some ideas, some things that were on our minds heading here into the end of 2025 into 2026. If you have any thoughts, comments, or additions, make sure to shoot those in the comment section, and we'll see you on the next episode.